Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be talking to you today about the different statistics about domestic violence, and there are going to be some that's going to be very alarming, but I'm going to share them with you anyway, because even though we don't talk about it, it doesn't mean that domestic violence is not happening. It can be happening right now. And in fact, every 9 seconds, a woman somewhere in the United States has been either beaten or assaulted. That's alarming. Every 9 seconds, that's a lot that's happening within just in this short video that I'm going to share with you today. So this is what we're going to talk about. And for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Jackie Wilson. I'm actually a certified life coach, which I specialize in healing from different types of life experiences that may happen to you as far as trauma, as far as domestic violence, as far as sexual violence. That's where I focus at, is on the healing side of that and being able to restore and get your life back on track. I'm also certified in mental health first aid. So I'm able to help someone that is actually in a crisis, someone that is contemplating taking their own life or have those ideas to do that. I'm certified in that as well. And I'm also an author. I've written 3 self-published books that are actually on Amazon. So I come before you guys sharing a lot of information, with a wealth of information to share with you. And I welcome you all to my channel. So thanks for coming in today and for joining me each and every day. Also, look somewhere down, might even be at the top, where you can subscribe to my channel and share and tell your friends and family about it as well, so that you all can join in and get some great information as well and stay in the loop of all of the videos that I'm going to be, that I have already done and what I'll be doing going forward. So let's go right on into what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about the different statistics that are very alarming. I'm going to share a lot that's going to be talking about African-American women and in our community, okay? So I am going to be reading from my tablet, so just kind of bear with me, okay? So now you've already heard, I'm sure, that 85% of victims are women, right? Now let me just share this information with you. This is what I found to be very, very alarming. 4 out of every 10 non-Hispanic Black women, that amounts out to be 43.7%. 4 out of every 10 American Indian or Alaskan Native women, which measures out to be 46.0%. And 1 in 2 multiracial non-Hispanic women, that mounts out to be 53.8%. Have been, all of these categories of what I just mentioned to you, have been the victim of rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. These stats are going to be very, very alarming for you. I already know that they are. Now I'm going to share with you about on the men's side. Nearly half of American Indian or Alaskan Native men, which amounts out to be 45.3%. Almost 4 out of every 10 Black men, which is 38.6%. Almost 4 out of every 10 multiracial non-Hispanic men, which ends up being 39.3%. Now, all of those different categories of what I shared with you in the United States reported experiencing rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner during their lifetime. Alarming stats. I'm telling you, I'm going to be sharing some with you. Just kind of bear with me. It's so much. Now, let me get into the category of the ages. The most common age when intimate partner violence is first experienced by women is the age group of 18 to 24. That's at 38.6%. That's higher than any other age group that's on this in this category where I'm going to share with you. 25 to 34-year-olds is 29.7%. 11 to 17, yep, that's what I said, 11-year-olds to 17-year-olds, 22.4%. 35 to 44 years old women is 6.8%. And 45 plus, which is the category that I'm in, we're at 2.5%. Now you may ask, why am I sharing that information with you? Because the age groups of when this is happening is starting out at the age of 11. Even though that's a lower percentage of 22.4%, it's still alarming to know that youth 11 to 17 years old are dealing with intimate partner violence at a rate that's just as high as women 25 to 34, which was 29.7%. That's extremely high. Now, you may ask, why is it that the women that get older may not be experiencing domestic violence? It doesn't mean that we're not. We're just not talking about it as much as the younger women are talking about it. That's all that means. What I just shared with you is what has been reported as far as in the age groups. Now, let me just share this as far as with the men. So men between the ages of 18 and 24 is 47.1%. The age group 25 to 34 is 30.6%. The age group of 11 to 17, the youth, 15.0%. The age group of 35 to 44 is 10.3%. The age group of 45 plus is 5.5%. Now, what should that tell you? That women are more likely to report abuse. That's the first thing. Women are more likely to report abuse than a man would do that. The categories are somewhat close. The men is 47.1% from 18 to 24. The women is 38.6%. Okay, so you might say, well, men are reporting it more than women are reporting it. But also keep in mind, we're talking age group of 18 to 24. So the younger ones, right, are more likely to report it. But also you think, well, then if it's high for men at 47.1% and it's 38.6% for women in the age group of the same 18 to 24, then you might say, well, then women are doing more of the abuse. No, let me explain that to you. The categories of age groups of what I've just shared with you covers men, women. It covers heterosexual relationships. It covers the folks in the LGBTQ folks in their category as well. So this is just cross the gamut of in terms of the categories. Okay, so it's mixing both. That's why the percentage would be higher for men at 18 to 24 because you're also including the LGBTQ community would be a part of this. Okay, so you also have to kind of take all of that into consideration. When you look at these different stats that I'm sharing with you, okay? So now let's go a little bit deeper. So 44% of lesbian women and 61% of bisexual women, compared to 35% of heterosexual women, experience rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Okay, and you may wonder, wow, those stats are high. You're exactly right. They are very high. Now, let me just go a little bit deeper. So 26% of gay men and 37% of bisexual men, compared to 29% of heterosexual men, okay, experience rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. So it is happening. It's happening in both of the relationship communities. It just depends on who is actually reporting that they have dealt with or they have experienced some form of abuse. It's going to be less likely for the LGBTQ plus community to mention about being abused because they're, concerned about being ousted, coming out and talking about what their experiences are, being put on blast or being judged. So they're going to be less likely to report it, even though it's happening. Okay, so it just kind of goes to show you that these things are happening. Like I said, even if we don't talk about it, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. It just means that we're not talking about it. Now, let me just share this with you. Now, Black women experience intimate partner violence at a rate 35% higher than white. Let me read that again. Black women experience intimate partner violence at a rate 35% higher than that of white women, and about 22 times the rate of women of other races. Now, let me keep going on with this. Further, Black women who are marginalized, such as low income, dating teens, pregnant women, and older women, are at a tremendous risk for victimization by a partner. Now, you may say, wow, that is very, very alarming. You're exactly right. It is alarming. And it's painful to me because I deal with a lot of African-American women, of course, because I'm African-American. So I have a passion in order to help, my people, okay, help other Black women that identify like me, to be able to help them to move forward and to be able to move forward past whatever abuse that they've gone through, because we've dealt with a lot of oppression through the years. And so it just makes sense for us to work together. Okay. Not that I don't, help other cultures. I do help other cultures and other ethnicities. But I have a passion to help, other Black women because I'm around them more and I hear and see the struggles of what they're going through. So that's why I do these videos, in order to help share this information, to hopefully to be able to bring awareness to raise some type of red flag so that we can see, hey, these are things that we need to work on. We need to take, pay more attention to these things that are going on in our life. We need to, monitor the men that are coming into our life, or the women, depending on the dynamics of your relationship. We need to monitor, the people that we're bringing into our circle more than what we've been doing, in order for us to decrease the possibility of being in an abusive relationship. Even if that's a friendship, we can still be in an abusive relationship, even if it's a friendship. So we want to kind of monitor those things. And this information I'm sharing with you can go across the gamut. It doesn't matter what your race is. I'm just sharing this information with you. But when I talk about in regards to me as a Black woman, I have to be mindful of the type of men that I bring into my circle, because of me being a survivor. First off, I have to make sure that I'm bringing in the right caliber of person, okay? That I'm healthy, I'm healed. First off, those are the first things I have to be concerned about. Am I healed? Am I in a good place in my life for me to be able to have a relationship with another male, right? For me to be able to date a male, to date a guy, to be attracted to one, to want to plan a relationship with this person. Am I in a good, healthy space myself, right? Is my mind right? Is my heart right? Am I seeing this relationship different than I saw the relationship before? Okay, so I don't want to come into this relationship and bring all that baggage in, because that's not fair to this individual. But if we don't take the time to, these stats I just shared with you, if we don't take the time to look at these stats as being alarming, something that we need to pay attention to, something that we need to be mindful of, that we don't need to just dismiss and say, well, this doesn't have anything to do with me because, I'm not in that kind of a relationship. Even if you're not, you may know somebody that's in this kind of a relationship. And that could be a benefit for them, that you learn this information to be able to help that individual. And then also, if you have young children, it doesn't mean that because you didn't go through that, maybe one of your children, a son or a daughter, may not experience that. It just means that you didn't go through it, okay? But being able to help and bless another person, to share the information, to get the information, to raise the flags to that individual that you see that's in that kind of a relationship, can be very beneficial, can be beneficial for you and also for that person that you're going to help. So let me share this with you as well, because today is Statistics Day, okay? So 46% American Indian, 43% Black women, 37% Latinas, 36% white women, and 20% Asian and Pacific. While all women can experience intimate partner violence, women of color are often more likely to be victims than their peers. That's alarming. We're more likely to be victims than another race of women because of women of color. Just think about that. Think about that. That's alarming. American Indian women are at 46%. Black women are at 43%. We're higher than the other three races that are categories that are listed on here. The Latinas, the white women, Asian and Pacific. We're higher than they are. So just something to kind of think about. When they say women of color, they're talking about any woman of color other than a Caucasian woman. Okay, so that's just cross the gamut when the statistics say that. That's alarming. Think about, what can you do in order to not be that statistic? What can you do? How can you help somebody that you think might be in there? Now, another thing I'm going to tell you, this is the same thing, women of color. We put it all together saying over 54% of women of color are survivors of intimate partner violence. That's alarming. That's huge. But that's talking about anybody of color, any woman of color. I'm a woman of color. That's including me in there too. And I am a survivor. And I deal with a lot of other women that are survivors. Just think about that. How can we help other people that we know, friends, loved ones, people we work with, neighbors? How can we help them to not fall into this, to become a statistic? That's the right way to say that, to be a statistic. How can we prevent that from happening? How can we prevent generations in our family from becoming a statistic? How can we do that? We can do that by becoming educated about domestic violence, by paying attention when we see on the news someone has died because of domestic violence, and we listen to and hear what their families are saying about how this person loved this other person, how their relationship was. We can benefit from that. So just giving you some things to think about, okay? We're going to continue on talking about it. We're going to continue talking about healing, but I want you guys to dip, somewhere down here to click on the to subscribe to the channel, okay? So that way you can continue to keep following me. And with that being said, you guys have a great, great, great self-care Saturday. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. You got it. Bye-bye.